Hello, my name is Colin, and along with a couple of my colleagues, Robert Vera and Carina Alessandro, we together were part of a project over the course of the last year, and we decided to look at creating permanent and temporary inactivations in the rat posterior parietal cortex. We chose to investigate the posterior parietal cortex because of its perceived involvement in attention and memory functions, more specifically its role in top-down and bottom-up processing. Top-down processing, which is using what is already in someone's memory, or also known as retrieval, and also bottom-up processing, which is using information that is novel from the environment, which is sometimes called acquisition. In that, we wanted to discover the coordinates of where these functions were localized in the brain. So we used two different methods of brain inactivations to do that.
So the first method that we used was a permanent way to inactivate the brain region. So we used NMDA and methyl deoxy, which is a permanent technique where the brain region is turned off completely. And we found that we lesioned mostly the dorsal part of the posterior parietal cortex and not the full, including the caudal portions. And there was also significant extra lesion area. So we lesioned, if you take a look at our poster, it shows that there's significant area outside of the PPC that we actually lesioned. So in majority, we did not successfully reach the caudal portion of the PPC. There was significant extra lesion area, like I just mentioned. And in order to move forward, we needed to perfect these coordinates for the location of the PPC in order to accurately assess the function of both the dorsal and caudal sections.
Now, the next portion of the presentation, there's a table which shows the stereotaxic coordinates of both the dPPC and the cPPC. And in that, if you look at the two dread pilots, we actually decided to marginally move the coordinates position. That was due to us wanting to better or improve our accuracy in the next study, as well as we decided to increase the injection size due to us deciding to use a different method in brain inactivation.
And so that method that we decided to use was DREADS, Designer Receptors Exclusively Activated by Designer Drugs. It's a virus substrate complex where a virus is injected into the subject and is activated by a substance called CNO, causing temporary neural inactivations. So with that lesioning method, we found that DREADS injections actually did successfully target the dPPC and the cPPC. We were successful in the pilots for targeting the PPC, and the top image on our poster shows that this successful targeting of the left hemisphere of the dPPC, and the bottom image shows the right hemisphere of the dPPC with the DREADS virus as pink. And so this method has actually never been used in order to target the PPC before, and so it's novel to the neuroscience field and in the literature that we were looking at. The only issue that we found was that the localized spread of the virus was successful, but the effectiveness of the activator CNO was not tested, and this requires some further investigation, which we're currently working on.
So our future goals of this project, we are currently looking at what dosage of CNO works best to inactivate the brain using DREADS. We've been using varying amounts from 0.5 mg per kg to 0.1 mg per kg. But besides that, we've been looking at other ways to test these portions of the brain once we've figured out that the CNO is working. And with that, we'll open up to questions.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for sharing this really important, exciting work. While we wait for some questions to come through, do you guys want to talk about what, or expand a little bit more on what might be next for this research, what you're hoping to do going forward?
Yeah, so going forward, our intention was to use these coordinates in our research with the new DREADS pilot rats, and in order to test them on a battery of attentional set shifting tasks and things like that, in order to kind of match the structure of the PPC to functions that we have found. And in the works, it was put on hold this semester, but we're basically just trying to, going off of what Colin was just saying, figuring out if CNO is the right activator for the brain region that we're using. So our work this semester kind of shifted to a different brain region to kind of perfect the DREADS method. And then we're going to move back to the PPC once we are sure that the dosage of CNO is correct, as well as if the activator CNO is the one that we should use in general.